Namaste, everybody. We are now in the 27th part of the Mahabharata series, in which we are going to see how Amavasya occurred on a Trayodashi tithi, which formed the basis of the Bodhayana Amavasya concept. Let's first see the sequence of events since Krishna left Hastinapura on waning Kartikam, that is waning Kartika Masa, in Uttara Palguni star, after he completed the discussion with Karna. The next day, that is on the Hasta day, he had reached Upablavya. The next information given in the Mahabharata is about Balarama leaving Upaplavya on Anuradha day. See, the day next to Anuradha only is Jeshta. He didn't stay still Jeshta. No one knows what happened on Jeshta. But between these 3 days, 3 nakshatras are coming. Hastam means Chitra, Swati, and Vishaka. On the Vishaka day, the Trayodashi Tithi was running, but at that time, something that is the Amavasya should have happened according to Karna's version. Let's see whether it happened at all. But Vyasa also talked about Amavasya in Trayodashi, though he did not mention the nakshatra name. Let us see what he exactly said. Vyasa told to Dhritarashtra, Chadurdashim Panchadashim Bhudapurvam Chad Shodashim Imam Tuna Abhijnanami Amavasyam Trayodashi. Let's see the meaning of it. Chadurdashi, that is the Chadurdashi Tithi. See, normally the tithis will end up like Chadurdashi, Panchadashi. Whereas if you say Chadurdasha, it's a number. For example, if you want to mention a day, that is 14th day, it is Chadurdasha Divasa. Whereas it is Chadurdashi means Tithi. Then Panchadashi, it's the 15th Tithi. Mostly on that Tithi, Amavasya or Purnami would occur. But sometimes, Bhutapurvam, in the olden days, sometimes that is Amavasya or Purnami had gone past that and then happened in the Shodashim, 16th Tithi. But however, never have I heard na abhijnanami Amavasya Triyodashi. I have never heard that Amavasya would occur on Triyodashi. That's what Vyasa has told. So Vyasa has never heard because it's not possible. But what do our modern researchers say? They say it's possible. They count it as the day, solar day, Chandradasha Divasaha, and within 13 solar days, the eclipse can happen according to them, and it happens, it has a frequency of some 200 years or so. So 200 years is such a small time period only that Vyasa should have known, but he said, I have never heard. So that means it had never, it could never happen in a few centuries or few thousands of years. That's what he means. So, but Vyasa has got so much of knowledge about the astronomy or the time or calendar elements. When he says so, our modern researchers don't agree with that. And they say they know pretty well and it can happen according to them. And that should also be an eclipse according to them. Can you find any evidence of an eclipse in this? Not at all. So, Sriyodashi Tithi is a lunar Tithi. It's not a solar day. That we should first understand. Can Amavasya occur on a Triyodashi? Triyodashi is the time of Pradosha Kala. Can Amavasya occur on that day? That's also not possible. So that's a Ganesha moment. We have to think while reading this verse. But people never do that thinking. Here we have to apply Anupalabdhi. What is Anupalabdhi? That's Pramana. Something this looks non-existent, but it is in existence. That we have to find out. That is that's all about Anupalabdhi. So initially it was told that Amavasya took place on Jeshta in the normal course. But occurring on Triyodashi means it's not a normal course. Karna indicated indirectly and Vyasa openly told that it happened on Triyodashi. So that means there was no Amavasya on Jeshta because Jeshta Amavasya was in the normal course. If it is happening in Triyodashi means it occurred earlier than normal. So that is the revelation from applying Anupalabdhi. And there is no hint of an eclipse also. And we have to know why the Amavasya can never happen in Triyodashi. Here I am giving you the NASA data about the moon at the farthest level and moon at the nearest. Because the moon doesn't go in a single path. It will be just oscillating within a band. So the nearest and the farthest. The farthest is given here. The nearest is given here. So the average of these two will give you the number of phases. In all, 30 phases are there. 15 plus 15, 30 lunar phases are there within this period. So that is an average one. Suppose the moon is at the farthest, and then how many phases will come? Suppose if it is at the nearest to the earth, then how many phases will come? That we have to find out. That I am finding it out by this calculation. Duration of the phase I am first finding out. So the duration of an average distance divided by 30 gives you the duration of the phase. That is, moon travels 7,961.8 miles to cover one phase in a day. Okay, the distance between the closest and the farthest is how much? You find out the difference between that. That is 13,233 miles. So if you divide it by this single, that is average distance of one phase, you get 1.66. That is between the nearest and the farthest. Okay, there are additional or less than 1.66. That is, the difference is 1.66 means one phase, and a little above then a second phase, that is less than two phases. So when it is in the nearest, one phase will be less slightly. When it is in the farthest, more than a phase will be there, that is Shodashi will be there. When it is in the nearest, 14th tithi. Normally on the 15th tithi, Amavasya or Purnami should happen. When it is in the nearest, it will start in the Chaturdashi tithi itself. When it is in the farthest, it will start in the Shodashi tithi itself. So between the closest and the farthest orbit of the moon, the phases can vary within two phases only. That is 1.66 only. At the farthest, it is 15 plus 1. At the normal, it is 15 per paksha, just 15 tithis. So it will be 15 plus 1. At the closest, it will be 15 minus 1. That is 14th tithi. So, but tithi wise, Trayodashi will occur between 144 and 156 degrees, which is very impossible for moon to be there to form an Amavasya, because Amavasya or Purnami occurs when it is 180 degrees away from that, or when it isn't in conjunction. So this data shows maximum 15 to 16 or minimum 14th degree only. 14th tithi only can happen. The 13th tithi can never happen. But it happened at that time. That could be because of the Dhumaketur Mahagora Pushyam Akramya Tishtati, and also the Somasya Lakshma Vyavritam. The Dhumaketu had fallen, both, that is, it is splintered, and fragments have fallen on the earth, and then some fragments have fallen on the moon also, causing the moon to change its orbit. Slightly it has deviated. Because of that, the moon had gone earlier than normal and caused Amavasya on Trayodashi Tithi itself, and this was something shocking at that time. People were watching, and after that incident, what happened? The sequence of the Tithis have just changed. That is, from 4 or 5 times in a year, the Amavasya starts earlier than normal, because already it had gone up to 13th Tithi. So due to further movements in and out towards the inner and towards outer, we can see that sometimes it starts on the afternoon or evening of Chaturdashi Tithi itself, and the Amavasya will end before the nightfall of Amavasya. Normally the rule is like this. When do you say Sarva? You can see the word Sarva Amavasya in the Panchanga. That means the entire day, morning, that is at sunrise, and also at night, because Amavasya means the conjunction of the sun and the moon. The night time is the time for the moon. So the Amavasya should be at the night to be a Sarva Amavasya. But sometimes the Amavasya will start on the Chaturdashi Tithi itself. The morning Chaturdashi Tithi will be there. By that evening, Amavasya will start. So that night, Chaturdashi night, Amavasya will be going on. And the next morning, you will have Amavasya. But that Amavasya will get over by the evening, before nightfall. So in those Amavasyas, the Pratama Tithi will start from the night itself. So you cannot see the Pratama face normally. The Tutiya face will appear as a Pratama face. So in this case only, you would have heard about this Muslim festivals when they want to see the third face, for their festivals. Sometimes it will be delayed. The face is not seen. The face is not seen, because those times the Amavasya would have started earlier in Chaturdashi. In our system, we have a very clear planning like this. Rishi Bodhayana, after this incident, had found, okay, the regular happening had changed, that the regular standard movement had changed. Let us have the earlier the normal Amavasya. But it cannot happen on Triyodashi, definitely. That was the one-time event only. But now it has just moved forward. So that Amavasya alone is picked up and known as the Bodhayana Amavasya. This has been told in the Panchanga guidebooks. Earlier I showed you one guidebook that is found in the palm leaf inscriptions and written in print form. It is mentioned here. It is given in a story form, which you will find in the movie Karnan, old Karnan. In Tamil movie, it has come like when Sahadeva was an expert in astrology, and the Kauravas had come to him seeking some astrological counseling for fixing the muhurta for starting the war. He has given the date as the Amavasya, Karthika Amavasya, and then they happily left. But the Pandavas were very worried that the advantage is on the side of the Kauravas. Those they asked Krishna to do something about it, and then Krishna started doing the tarpan, and immediately everybody was shocked. This scene comes in that movie. Please recall. Old timers can recall, or even now that movie is there in the YouTube. You can see that, and then everybody is shocked. What Krishna is doing the Tarpan before Amavasya comes. Even this is the Chandra Surya. This is Chandra and this is Surya. Even both the deities had come to see Krishna, asking, "Why you do now when it is not Amavasya?" Then Krishna said, "What is Amavasya?" They said, "When the sun and the moon join together." He said, "See, you have come here together. You are together. So do is Amavasya. What is wrong with that?" That's how he justified that. That story, that is this incident of Mahabharata, has been immortalized into a story, which is kept as an oral tradition, which is very popular in olden days. But now people have forgotten that. So that earlier that Amavasya is there in the story, and that story was written in some palm leaf inscription that is available in the book. I showed one book long ago. It was in the page 323, you can see, and it is said that formed the basis of the Bodhayana Amavasya. Whenever your Amavasyaku முதல் நாளே அந்த திதி வரும் பொழுது, that is whenever Amavasya comes, nowadays it can come the previous tithi. Amavasya can start on the previous tithi, not on the tithi before that. That is on 13th Trayodashi tithi. So that formed the Bodhayana Amavasya. Those who are the followers of Bodhayana Rishi do that Amavasya. A main difference between the Bodhayana Amavasya and normal Amavasya is that in normal Amavasya, people give tarpan to their own parents, ancestors, whereas in Bodhayana Amavasya, to any relative or friend who had died naturally or unnaturally. Why that kind of a stipulation is there? Unless the many people have died naturally due to that unnatural event on that day, so they have designed it in such a way to elevate or to release those ancestors, that is those departed people, also on the Amavasya day. So thus we have an oral tradition, and we have this continuing tradition of Bodhayana Amavasya, and we have Vyasa outwardly saying that Trayodashi Amavasya had happened, which was unfortunately treated as one of the triple eclipses by our researchers, which we will see in the next part. With this, we are coming to the end of part 27, and I request you to share this widely with your friends. Thank you.